Welcome to episode 207 of the We Are Auto Show. What's up, Derek?
Mr. Michael Brow, there was some racing that happened over the past weekend. I actually did some racing this past weekend.
Oh, what did you race?
I did the Nürburgring 4-hour again, the VLN race on iRacing.
How'd that
Didn't go so hot.
Oh.
Didn't go so hot.
Well, what happened?
2 different attempts, 2 different accidents, a couple of accidents, you know. The main one being a very high-speed section, if you know the track. I don't remember the names. They're crazy names for all the corners, but very high speed section. It was just a BMW parked sideways across the track. Came around the corner, had no chance. Absolutely no chance.
Whoops.
Tagged the side of him, and that was the end of the race.
Yikes.
And that was an hour and a half in.
Oof.
Unfortunate. But it is what it is. That's just how racing goes.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
There was some other racing that happened this past weekend.
Yes, there was.
There wasn't actually a lot of racing. There's a little bit of racing that happened.
Mm-hmm.
We'll quickly chat about the 2 main races that did happen. The NASCAR Cup Series race at Talladega. That would have been, was it the Geico 500 or something like that?
I believe so. I think
something like that.
Yep.
But this race started out with the most NASCAR thing I've ever seen in my life. A parade lap of a semi carrying an American flag.
Hell yeah, brother.
Like, I watched the highlights, and it just immediately cut to that, like, parade lap, and it's a semi-truck carrying a massive American flag. I love it to death, but that is the most NASCAR thing I've ever seen.
I see no problem with that.
I see no problem with it either.
I think they should start
fantastic.
F1 races with the American flag and a semi-truck. I see no problem.
I agree. At Vegas? Oh, yeah. Make it happen, Captain.
Yeah. At Monza? At Silverstone? Doesn't matter. Just
Oh, boy. And then it cut to the scene of the elderly gentlemen that were giving the command to start your engines.
Yes.
How'd that go?
They were a bit out of sync.
That's a very nice way to put it. Yes.
It went well.
Gentle, start your engines.
It was like dementia meets many of them together. And
a few beers.
To be fair, it was like Bobby Labonte. It was all old NASCAR drivers. They're definitely in the sport.
Real studs in their own right.
But it was a bit of a mess.
Wasn't great.
That's okay. That's how every NASCAR race should start. Let's be real. It's also Talladega. It's in Alabama.
Yep.
Like, who cares? Okay?
I love it. No, it's correct.
It's perfect.
I'm not ragging on it because I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. The race itself is modern NASCAR pack racing. These cars are so glued to the track that the draft is just an absolute monster. If you're out of the draft, you're doomed.
Yeah.
But the pack is huge. The cars, I will say, are so glued to back in the day when they had NASCAR do the pack racing, before these next-gen cars, even the generation before that, like the 90s, 2000s cars, they were up on the wheel kind of driving the car everywhere. Now everything is so downforce oriented and glued to the track, you don't really have to drive the car very much. You kind of got to hold the wheel straight, and you're really playing on the draft.
Yeah.
You used to have to save the car through the corners all the time. And you were 3 wide, everybody was losing the rear the whole time. You don't really lose the rear in these cars. They're just so gripped up with so much downforce. So it's more of a figure out who you're going to bump draft with well, and it's a bit of a different strategy. I kind of wish it was the old way. Kind of wish they were a bit looser.
Yeah.
But it's more unsafe to do that way. So
it's way more fun to do it the other way.
It is, but it's also more dangerous.
But safety third.
Yeah, until somebody dies. Yeah.
And then you memorialize them.
Right, and that's just part of racing. Hail Dale, brother.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, the race itself was pretty good. It was modern pack racing, as you would expect in NASCAR. There were some shenanigans. You can see one of them here. A couple people lost it going onto pit road. There was 1 or 2 big accidents where a couple people got involved.
Mm-hmm.
There was one specifically that I want to talk about, which is this one with Kyle Larson. He's very well known. I think he won the championship a year or 2 ago, something like that. Very well known driver. But he got plowed into the side of the car, and you can see that bar in the window is actually one of the cage bars. It's one of the roll cage bars.
Yeah.
And it being bent that much really tells you how much force was put into the side of that car. Now, it doesn't, like, The old cars weren't made of carbon, so they didn't stick together on the outer shell as well. If this happened to an old car, the whole side of the car would be gone.
Yeah.
This doesn't look as bad, but if you see that bar bent like that, you know it's very bad.
Yeah, that tells you it's a big crash.
Right. So I think that NASCAR is actually confiscating this car. They're taking this, and they're going to do analysis on it to figure out how they can structurally make the cars better, which is, it's a big accident when they take the car. I think they took 2 cars in total.
Wow.
Which is kind of interesting. The race did end, I think, under yellow. They had a green-white checker. They might have had 2. It was entertaining, and sure enough, Mr. Kyle Busch came out on top.
He did. Kyle Busch took the win, followed by Ryan Blaney and Chris Buescher.
Mm-hmm. So that's pretty neat. There was also another update hours after the race. I think it was like 4 hours after the race. They had a timing debacle that they need to figure out who finished where on the final caution. They had come to take the white flag, and then there was a wreck that happened, I think, along the backstretch, or maybe it was in turn 3 and 4. But at the point that the yellow comes out is when all the cars are frozen, the grid is frozen, and essentially that's the end of the race, as long as you can complete the lap. And they shuffled, I think it was like 12 drivers. Some went up, some went down. They basically took a snapshot of the field at that point based on, I don't know if it was like helicopter footage or what it was. Yeah. But they reordered a couple of the people in the field, and some were upset about it. It's whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal.
It is what it is.
Yep. So that was NASCAR. There was another race that happened this weekend, and that would have been the European Le Mans Series.
Correct. The ELMS, European Le Mans Series, which races WEC cars, they're racing WEC cars, so World Endurance Championship cars, with the exception of the hypercar class.
Right.
So you've got LMP2, LMP3, and GTE, not GT3.
Yes.
So the older GT cars.
Right.
The 488 GTE Ferrari, the Aston Martin Vantage GTE, the Porsche 911 RSR, not GT3R.
Now these will be upgraded in the future to GT3 cars, as when the when the WEC does it as well. If you notice this grid, this shot right here really tells the story. That's a lot of LMP2 cars. That's a ton of LMP2 cars. I see 4 or 5 rows of LMP3, so at least 10 to 12 LMP3 cars back there, and then some GT cars. So in general, this is just an LMP2 fest.
It's a lot of P2s.
Yeah.
It's still good lot racing. Of P2s.
The LMP2 car does create pretty good racing, I will say that.
It does.
And it's a very reliable car. They've been racing it for years.
I like the LMP2 car.
Mm-hmm. I do too. And it fits well in this multi-class racing. So
yeah, for sure. But all in all, this race, not crazy eventful. This was in Barcelona, 4 hours of Barcelona. I mean, pretty clean race from what I could see.
Yeah, looking at some highlights, there were not many accidents at all.
Yeah.
I believe that there was the blue Porsche in the background here. There's a story behind that, right?
Yeah, so that blue Porsche in the background, that's actually a Proton competition car that is the First Form or Wright Motorsports or Mountain Motorsports Porsche that's going to be competing at Le Mans. And that is actually a team of drivers that comes mostly, well, a good chunk out of IMSA. So Ryan Hardwick and Zach Robichon, those two came from that same blue Wright Motorsports Porsche in IMSA, the International Motorsports Association, right?
Yep.
So this past Sebring, that blue car in the WEC was slated to run 1,000 miles of Sebring, and drivers Ryan Hardwick and Zachary Robichon were slated to run both the WEC race on Friday and the IMSA race on Saturday. But back at Sebring, that blue Porsche RSR actually got hit by a Cadillac hypercar in practice. Took them out of the weekend entirely. Car was unrepairable.
Yeah, they were going into turn 7 and just got straight up hit into the wall. Straight punted into the wall by the Cadillac.
Yeah.
It was pretty blatant. But don't they need mileage?
They do, which is why now this blue car is running both the WEC and the ELMS.
Okay.
So the Proton competition, that blue First Form Wright Motorsports, the Mountain Motorsports Porsche, that is now racing the WEC. So they raced Portimao. They're racing the ELMS. So they raced Barcelona. They're also racing the next WEC race at Spa as well.
So they're just getting as many as they can in.
Yeah, it's because they didn't get those miles in at Sebring. They just have to clock miles in that car.
Yeah.
Because those guys, Ryan Hardwick got invited to race the 100-year anniversary Le Mans this year. So he's got to get some miles.
This is all lead up to Le Mans. This is kind of, these series in general, these ELMS series, kind of are just a lead up to Le Mans. Let's be real.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. It's a good series in its own right, but yeah, no, it's definitely a big chunk leading straight to Le Mans.
It's kind of the same way that IMSA has the Michelin Pilot Challenge series, and that's a lead up to the Rolex 24, to the Sebring 12 hours, to the bigger races in IMSA.
Yeah,
your ladder to get to IMSA racing. So
yeah, but my beef with that is that this is actually the same cars.
It is,
and it's a lot of the same teams too.
I know. And these teams do run at Le Mans. Some of them. A select few of them.
A lot of them do.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Iron Lynx. Mm-hmm. You've got AF Corsa. You've got United Autosports. You've got Interpol. You've got Dragon Speed. You've got DK Engineering. You've got, you've got Duquesne. You've got a ton.
But I would say that this is their way to stay sharp for Le Mans.
Yes.
That's what they're utilizing this series for.
Mm-hmm.
Like as you said, it's a very good series. It's very competitive. A lot of good drivers, professionals from all around the world. But this kind of feels like a series to just lead you to Le Mans.
Yep.
So
that's definitely a big chunk of it. Real quick, some finishers. I'll give you the top class P2, and then I'll give you the GT cars because of the two that we really care about. Top class that was taken by Racing Team Turkey. That has Louis Delatraz racing there. So you've got good drivers, right? They took the overall win, but in the GTE class, here's where it gets a little exciting. Without knowing, did you see who won?
No, I have no idea.
It was the blue Porsche.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they took the win. The GT class wing, the Proton competition. Ryan Hardwick, Zachary Robichon, and Picarello.
Now I'm curious, what was the gap to second? Does it say?
I will tell you. It was...
Or does it just give you the lap? The laps down to the leader? It might just give you laps down.
It was only like a second and a half.
Oh, okay. So it was a good battle.
Looks like there was actually some racing there.
Good.
Yeah, both on the lead lap and within about a second and a half of each other.
Sweet.
Woo.
Cool.
So, yeah, great stuff there.
Definitely. I believe there's some races coming up this weekend, right?
Yes. So that actually is a great prelude into what is happening this weekend. So there is, if you are a circuit racing fan, open wheel or GT cars or prototypes, this is a good weekend for you. This weekend, F1 is back. They are back from their little break. They are racing the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which, can we talk about that for a second?
Azerbaijan. That's in the Middle East, right?
Yes, they're back in the Middle East again.
Have they left the Middle East?
Very briefly.
Where'd they go?
Straya.
Oh, they did.
They went from Middle East, upside down, then back to the Middle East.
Yeah, you're right. They've done 4 races now?
Believe so,
3 or 4? Okay. Huh.
They've done, Sakir,
I think that was a
Bahrain.
test. I think Sakir was a test. But yeah.
You're right. So, either way, they've been, well...
I think it's 3 races total.
Yeah, that's preseason. So Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Australia, and now we're on the 4th race, Azerbaijan.
So 3 of the 4 races will be the Middle East. Great.
Yes.
Great.
Uh-huh.
And I think they end in Dubai, and I'm sure there's other Middle Easts.
They do end Abu Dhabi. You've also got Qatar. You've got... that's most of it for now.
So they're front and back loaded.
Yeah, for now.
At least. Interesting.
But Azerbaijan. Can I just say, I hate this circuit so much.
Why?
It is so narrow. There's no passing. It's so boring. I hate it so much.
Yes. Every time they race there, it's usually pretty boring. Would you rather watch Monaco?
I'd rather watch Monaco all day long.
Ooh, boy. Okay.
I would argue that Azerbaijan is my least favorite race on the calendar.
Yeah, it might be.
My absolute most least favorite race is, as of now, it's Azerbaijan.
It's pretty darn narrow. It's almost impossible to pass.
It's impossible to pass. And then when a caution happens, everyone just grinds to a halt because the procedure is so narrow, you can't do anything. It's like almost immediate red flags for everything. It's just dumb. I hate it so much.
If a car is sideways, it blocks the whole track.
The entire track, yes.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, it's probably the worst track on the calendar. But you know what? Money, baby.
It's
Money
racing
talks.
and it's money. So F1 is back this weekend. Hallelujah. But maybe my favorite race of the weekend is the WEC is racing again.
Where are they at?
They are at one of my favorite tracks. So I've got one of my least favorite tracks and one of my favorite tracks racing all in the same weekend.
They're not at Le Mans because it's
You're
not
right.
that time of the year.
Spa-Francorchamps.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
good.
the 6 hours of Spa. The
That's
WEC
good track.
is at Spa. I am so excited for that. That will be a fabulous race.
Yes.
Very much looking forward to that. The NASCAR is also racing. They're at Dover Motor Speedway. And then I would say I'm more excited about the Indy race this weekend than I am the F1 race.
What's that?
Indy's at Barber.
Oh, are they?
I adore Barber.
Yes.
Such a cool track. It's got elevation. It's got up and down and in and out and left and right and north and south and east and west and all the different directions.
Yep.
It's got banked corners. It's got off-axis. It's such a cool track.
Heck yeah.
I love the fact that the Indy's at Barber this weekend. I would rather watch Indy at Barber than F1 at Azerbaijan.
Does IMSA go to Barber still? I don't think that they do anymore.
I think the Pilot Challenge cars did, but I don't think the actual IMSA race series does
it's
anymore.
not on the schedule. Okay.
No.
Yeah, Barber is a fantastic track. That's actually what I was running in iRacing. Man, that track just has flow to it.
It's such
awesome.
a cool track.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's got elevation change, but it's got tight corners, wide corners, increasing radius, decreasing radius, banked corners.
Would you rather race at Spa or Barber?
Spa.
Ooh, really?
Eau Rouge and Radion, that is just legend.
It is. But as far as pure driving, I don't know. Barber might be more of a pure driving track.
It might be, but I hold true to just my love of Spa.
It's a cool track.
It's such a cool track, and I remember racing it on Gran Turismo when I was a kid. So I don't think I'll ever stray from Spa.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's such a cool track.
They're a bit different to each other.
They're same but different.
Yeah, slightly. I'd probably say that Spa's probably the better one.
Yeah. Either way, you got F1 Azerbaijan, NASCAR at Dover Motor Speedway, the WEC at Spa, and IndyCar is at Barber. So lots of good racing this weekend.
Should be good.
Yeah, pull up a chair, turn the TV on. If you're listening on audio, send us a message. Let us know which race you want to see the most. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a thumbs up on the video. Drop a comment about which one you want to watch. I'd be curious. I bet it's mostly Spa.
The WEC. Yeah, I don't know. F1 is on. F1's got a big fan base.
It does. But I argue Spa is just the best.
Yeah.
Either way, go ahead and follow us on social. Facebook is We Are Auto. Instagram is We Are Auto _. YouTube is We Are Auto. And our website is weareauto.io, where you can go to catch some of your favorite past races. So, thanks again. Catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.